We all understand the type of climate that we're dealing with. We're dealing with multiple offer situations.
I'd love to know sort of what's your why? What makes you tick? Why are you so successful?
Have a dialogue with your lawyer. Have a dialogue with your agent.
Both sort of passionate about sort of what we do.
Again, vet your agent to make sure that they're experienced and they're local. I like that idea.
No excuse to miss it on Saturdays from 8 to 9.
That's right.
WBZ.
And now, the show that gives you the latest and most relevant housing market news. Real Estate Radio Boston with financial expert Rick Shearer and legal professional Ali Alavi.
Every once in a while, I get a Periscope notice of the fellows over in Seattle, and you guys are talking about some curveball issue as it relates to real estate. So that always, I found that to be very, very informative. So keep that up.
And obviously, we're in the Boston market, and you've got a pretty good contingent of real estate professionals in this marketplace, and you've got 1,000 agents strong, correct?
That's right, over 1,000 nationally.
Wow. And as a chief economist, why don't you give us a sort of a picture of what we're looking at nationally?
Well, it's actually the fastest market we've seen at Redfin since we started keeping track in 2009. Homes are literally flying off the shelves. In fact, our local Boston agent, Peter Fenney, said he's never seen a market like this in Boston in his career. Wow. And let me tell you, that's more than a few years long. And so what we're seeing is a really fast market, and it has to do with inventory. Today's buyers are confronting two things, not one. It's not just about prices. It's about competition from other buyers. And that's what's making it such a hot market.
No doubt.
That's a national picture.
No doubt, but real estate is local. I mean, are you seeing this nationally? You're seeing across the board that the days on the market and the level of aggressiveness by the buyers and the amount of competition that you see across the nation is very similar, or are there pockets where we're seeing some lack of activity, perhaps?
Across the nation, we are in a chronic inventory shortage, and it's at every price level. In fact, there's a shorter supply of low-income or affordable starter homes than there is of anything else. And
Wow.
this is something you see across the board. But I'll tell you, where there's good job growth, you'll see high price appreciation. So even though this is the national story, there are pockets around the country that are really taking off, and Boston is one of them.
Where would I find a good deal if you just had a map and you said, it's a nice community, it's a good state? Where nationally, if I wanted to move and just get a good deal, any idea on that?
Well, I believe as an economist, you have to match affordability with a place where you can actually get a job and make an income.
Right.
There
Absolutely.
are plenty of great deals where you can't find a job. You probably don't want to go specifically to those places. But what we're seeing is that the really hot markets are in the Midwest and in the South. They're the affordable markets. The affordable markets who've managed to attract big business, even some tech workers, and they're really pairing that economic growth with affordable housing. Prices are taking off, sales are taking off. We don't know how long they'll stay affordable.
Actually, in the first segment, when we were talking about how Rick has left his old company and now he's with Guaranteed Rate, and the fact that there is tremendous amount of branding recognition nationally and locally there, you relate to that.
Well, we were a tried and true local brand, and had literally stepped into an amazing international brand.
Right.
So we've got the best of both.
And I'll tell
local, international, all of it.
And I'll tell you, you've done something amazing. I work with a bunch of agents from your office, and what I can tell you as they are some of the highest quality, not even salespeople, just individuals themselves. Just really good people that you'd go out and love to have a glass of wine with and hang out with. But they take unbelievable care of their people and their clients, and so the team that you have that represents your brand and your company are just amazing.
Well, thank you very much. We're really, very proud of Barrett Sotheby's. We call ourselves best of class, and I think we certainly are.
You are.
That's awesome. We don't want to spend too much time with regards to what the local market's doing there in sort of Concord, Carlisle, Lincoln. Really want to talk to you about some of these recent trends that we're seeing. I think there was an article in the Boston Globe that talked about the fact that a particular buyer agent felt that it was perhaps best for their client for them to submit two separate offers on two separate properties.
Well, the concern is that people are missing out because we're in multiple offer, transactions. low inventory is still an issue in our area and, geographically. And there were several buyer agents encouraging their buyers to put in 2 offers at one time.
That's insane.
I agree.
Tell the listeners why it's insane.
Well,
and I'll corroborate.
First of all, you're not setting your best foot forward. You hopefully, if you win both of them, you're going to have to back off from one of them. The other issue is that you stand to lose your deposit. You're signing a contract that says, I'm going to buy this. I have good faith, and I'm giving you my best faith. And it's a bit of an integrity issue, I think.
We have Marty Desmarais from Partridge, Snow and Hahn. He's our resident real estate litigation expert. And
we love that
if
L
he
word.
was sitting in the studio today, and he would tell you that strategy has a nightmare written all over it, because even though those offers may have built-in contingencies within them, the mere fact that the buyer is submitting an offer simultaneously on 2 separate properties, and if they are both accepted, those sellers can force that particular buyer to purchase both. And if they can't, they're going to be subject to what's called a specific performance, which is massive amount of financial liability for that buyer.
And I think there's a lot of
big mistake.
And I think there's a lot of people in real estate, on the real estate, the agent side of things, that think, or even buyers that think that the purchase and sale is, because it includes more pages, that it's stronger. And that's just not the case. I mean, you're signing a binding contract day one.
Well, I think there's precedent for it. I mean, I think the
Absolutely.
issue is, yes, your offer says it's subject to a satisfactory purchase and sale, but there has been a lot of precedent, Massachusetts precedent,
Exactly.
that they can actually force you through that process. So we don't want to put our buyers in that. They're already stressed enough. They don't need more stress worrying about how they're going to get out of one transaction or another.
One of the main reasons that I joined Keller Williams, I came on as a new agent with them, was because of the training that they offer. I mean, they were ranked #1 in training by Training Magazine across all industries, not just real estate. Wow. They offer a 20-day program initially called Ignite for when people start in coaching, in training in real estate. And it walks them through the whole process, everything that we need to know. It's not just about like the legalese and protecting yourself, but it's about how to grow a business and how to build a business, and then how to offer high-level value for your clients so that they keep coming back and refer business.
Yeah, so getting right down to the nitty-gritty, like getting right down to basics and building off of that. Sorry, Ollie.
No. You said building business, right? I mean, it's critical to highlight this. They're talking about the value of the brand of the real estate agent himself or herself, and building that team and emphasizing its success rather than the Keller Williams brand.
Right. And so if you look at Keller Williams signs, even just for an example, right, none of them look the same, because the whole model is that you're working with a local agent, and that agent is the brand. And so they have KW to stand behind them and offer things like training and systems and models, but you're really working with that agent, and you're bought into working with that agent.
And that is so different, a fresh perspective, because I'll tell you, a lot of the big brands really want you to have no personal branding out there. They really want to be that forefront. But I mean, as all the salespeople and people, no one works with you because you have a green, blue logo behind you, or a stagecoach or anything like that. They work with you for you. And I love how that Keller Williams has really pinpointed that and really helped people say, it's not about Keller Williams. It's actually about you.
Yeah, and they've created a great model, the team model, which a lot of agents are starting to move towards. Yeah. And the benefit of that is everyone gets to play to their strengths. I mean, I run a team out of the Beverly office, and so we've got somebody that handles listings, and that's their sole focus. We've got somebody that works with buyers, and so they aren't eating up all the time that they could be out working with buyers and educating them on trying to handle all the listings they have going. And then we've got a transaction coordinator that handles all the paperwork. We've got a marketing person that handles marketing, and so everybody can really play to the highest end of their strengths.
But it truly takes a particular unique skill set in order to be a listing house as opposed to be a buyer agent. Those are completely different skill sets, and that's absolutely a breath of fresh air to recognize those strengths and nurture it and grow it.
Yeah, definitely.
Well, I'll tell you, salespeople, they hate paperwork and and structure and things like that. So yeah, hire people that are just going to do it better than you, because who cares who's doing the paperwork piece of it, as long as you're being taken care of, all your questions are getting answered, and everybody's all over it. So again, that's awesome. Let's talk about the theory Miracle
the
Morning
mindset.
for a second.
Yeah, love
we've had Hal Elrod on the show, I think twice now.
Yeah.
He's called in, and it's such a great movement. It's something that I participate in, probably not as much as I should, but I absolutely have the theory and the mindset. Talk a little bit about the Miracle Morning, how you got with Hal, and then how you came up with this awesome book for all salespeople out there.
Yeah, no. So I met Hal at Cutco, actually. So
Yeah.
Hal was one of their top sales reps when I was a manager, and we met at different conferences. He was in California. I was in Burlington, Vermont. So we only bumped into each other. But through that, we built a lot of relationships. There's a lot of top salespeople all over the country that have moved on to other things that we've stayed connected with. And so we just have a close group of people. We've been connected through the Front Row Foundation, which is a charity that we're both connected to, that a friend of ours started. And so I met him there. I stayed in contact with him I was in his group coaching program actually 5 years ago, probably, when I started real estate right before the book launched. And so he was already teaching the Miracle Morning before it was ever a book. The book came because it was working with clients.
Right.
And so I was on his book launch team for the original Miracle Morning.
Oh, wow.
And that's how we got to talking about the fact
I remember
that
the wristbands that he had that says "Can't change it."
Can't change it.
Yeah. So just give us a 20-second just overview of what is the Miracle Morning.
So the Miracle Morning is just a morning routine. It's not new practices. It's the 6 best practices for personal development. So silence, meditation, prayer, whatever, affirmations, visualization, exercise, reading, and scribing. Another word for journaling, because save urge doesn't work.
Right.
And so he just repackaged it in a way that people are able to implement it. It's simple. And you can do it in 6 minutes. You can do it in an hour. It doesn't really matter. It's just a way to make sure you do it every day so it becomes habit.